What up? It's your boy T-Bone Reaction. Today is Wrestling Reaction on Wrestling Wednesday. So about to end off right as well too. At this past year, 2025, we lost a lot of folks in the industry, in the world, in the entertainment industry, and more importantly, in the wrestling industry. We're gonna look back at those who we sadly lost this past year, such as the Sabu, Mondo, and even the icon himself. Despite all the controversy and everything, including the racial controversy, he was an icon of wrestling. That's none other than we used to call him the moral, but now the legendary Hulk Hogan. So anyway, without further ado, we're gonna look at all the wrestlers we lost this past year. I think Sid passed away this year too. That was last year. Either way, let's get it.
It's always difficult to say farewell to our favorite professional wrestlers, and 2025 saw no shortage of gut-wrenching goodbyes. The year saw us pay our final respects to forgotten NXT wrestlers and infamous TNA personalities, to iconic voices of both WCCW and WCW, to independent standouts from North America, Japan, Mexico, and everywhere in between, and as well to the most legendary professional wrestler that ever was. Black Bart. Born in Arkansas in January 1948, Black Bart will be most clear-cut to wrestling fans for his brief flirtations with WCW and the WWF in the late 80s and early 90s. He passed away on January 9th at the age of 76 after a long battle with stage 4 colon cancer.
Man.
Hunter Q. Robbins III. Although not a full-time pro wrestler, Hunter Q. Robbins III was one of the most original managers in what was then Eastern Championship Wrestling, with Sabu and Superfly Jimmy Snuka amongst his clients. He died on January 11th, having ditched the squared circle for the bright lights of independent filmmaking. Colonel De Beers. Edward Wiskowski portrayed a myriad of monikers throughout his 33-year wrestling career, but most fans will remember as Colonel De Beers, the controversial white supremacist character. He ran a wrestling school out of Portland, Oregon, alongside the late Buddy Rose after he decided to retire from pro wrestling. He passed away on January 22nd at the age of 80. Gran Hamada. Gran Hamada will be a name instantly recognizable to many Western fans, but you may recall his participation in the acclaimed six-man tag team match from ECW's 97 barely legal pay-per-view. In his native Japan, he was credited as the first to adopt the lucha libre style from Mexican wrestling, which brought him significant acclaim across a nearly 5-decade career. He passed away on February 15th at 74 years old, though his legacy lives on through his two daughters, one of whom, Ayako Hamada.
Hamada! I thought that I was wondering what the name. I was wondering what the name was like. Very okay.
Eric Priest. Eric Priest was a prominent independent wrestler throughout the noughties whose biggest claim to fame was succumbing to Chris Masters' Masterlock on the 2006 episode of WWE Raw. He passed away on February 22nd, age 50, after being involved in a horrific motorcycle accident. Osamu Nishimura. A professional wrestler before he was a Japanese politician, Nishimura joined the fearsome New Japan Dojo while still a high school senior and made his professional debut within a year, embarking on a successful run in Japan's leading wrestling organization. Sadly, he suffered from cancer at numerous stages in his life and ultimately lost his life to the disease on a stage 4 esophageal cancer, to be precise, on February 28th at the age of 53. Australian Suicide. Australian Suicide was a dazzling standout of the Mexican wrestling scene, finding considerable success in AAA, holding their World Cruiserweight Championship. He passed away on March 6th at just 32 years old after suffering a cardiac arrest. Bracito de Oro. At just 4'11", De Oro was a mainstay of CMLL's Mini Estrella division, portraying the miniature versions of 3 different wrestlers. Though it was as Bracito de Oro, the Mini Brazo de Oro, that he found the most acclaim in. He passed away on March 9th, age 59. Vince Steele. Tragically, Vince Steele lost his life while competing for Brie Combination Wrestling in New Jersey on March 16th at age just 39. The Jurassic Juggernaut is said to have suffered a medical emergency during his 4-way contest, which was instantly halted. He passed away despite the best efforts of first responders. Rico Suave. Rico Suave is a name that likely won't ring many bells, but his 18-year stint in Puerto Rico's World Wrestling Council is deserving of its commendation. Suave suffered a heart failure on March 20th and passed away at the age of 54. Bill Mercer. A renowned sportscaster, Bill Mercer's journey into professional wrestling
Wow.
followed careers in the United States Navy during the Second World War
Wow.
and as a news reporter, where he even covered the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Oh, man.
Historical wrestling fans will also recall him as a voice of world-class championship wrestling
I heard
throughout
about
the
this.
80s. He passed away on March 22nd at the ripe age of 99.
Ooh,
Claire
he lived
Lynch,
a year.
though not an in-ring
Yeah.
talent, Claire Lynch provided TNA with one of its most infamous storylines, being used by Christopher Daniels and Kazarian to blackmail AJ Styles in 2012 in what was a most confusing angle.
Yeah.
She would pass away on April 1st from natural causes. Black Terry. Black Terry was a legend of various Mexican wrestling outlets, winning various singles and trios championships during a career spanning 5 decades. He passed away on April 20th at the age of 72 after suffering a cardiac arrest.
Oh, man.
Hisashi Shinma. Fans of certain vintage may recall Hisashi Shinma as the on-screen president of World Wrestling Federation
Okay.
throughout the 70s and early 80s. But in his
Alright.
native Japan, he played a more instrumental role behind the scenes in the then upstart New Japan Pro Wrestling. As Antonio Inoki's right-hand man, he helped develop innumerable key ideas that got New Japan off the ground and also helped promote the Boxer vs. Wrestler showdown between Inoki and Muhammad Ali. WWE penned a touching tribute to its former
Nice.
president in the wake of his April 21st death. WWE is saddened to learn that Hisashi Shinma has passed away. Shinma was known as the on-show president of WWE in the late 70s and early 80s, preceding the administration
Tunney.
of Jack Tunney. Behind the scenes, he was known as a master booker, assisting Antonio Inoki in
Yeah,
bringing
man.
the legendary New Japan
That's
Pro Wrestling to
wow.
prominence. He's credited with, among other things, giving Satoru Siyama the
The
Tiger
Tiger
Mask
Mask
character.
character, yup.
Shinma served a crucial role in
Nice.
helping negotiate a
Wow.
talent-sharing agreement between New
Wow.
Japan and WWE that helped many talented competitors and launched Tatsumi Fujinami as an international superstar. WWE extends its condolences to Shinma's family, friends, and fans. Steve McMichael.
There you go.
A celebrated football player who
Yep,
won the
Mondo-
Super Bowl
Mondo
in
Michaels.
1986 with the Chicago Bears, Steve Mongo McMichael switched the gridiron
Mongo.
for the squared circle in 1996, joining the latest incarceration of the Four Horsemen and enjoying a brief stint with WCW's United States Heavyweight Championship. He would give up wrestling for good after just 3 years. Sadly, later in life, he was diagnosed with
Yeah.
ALS and ultimately died from the disease on April 23rd, the same day he was admitted into hospice care. His colleague and close friend Ric Flair paid tribute to his fallen friend in an earnest post on X. The world just lost the incredible Steve
Yeah.
Mongo McMichael.
He was hurt.
He was my best friend through it
Flair
all,
was hurt.
an amazing athlete and human being. I have the fondest memories working with him, and this is an extremely heartbreaking loss for me. I love you, Mongo. You fought one hell of a battle. Rest in peace, my friend. Takashi Okamura. Takashi Okamura was the long-term president of Japan's Dragon Gate promotion,
Oh,
serving in the
wow.
role of its 2004 inception
Okay.
until his 2018 departure from the group. He passed away on April 25th, having been suffering from an undisclosed illness. Sabu.
Sabu,
And just
yeah.
3 weeks after wrestling his retirement match, Sabu
Yeah.
passed away on May 11th at the age of 6.
That was crazy too. That he passed away after his retirement match. It's like it was like after it's sad like that when you like hang it up and everything. I guess after not being active anymore, I feel like all this history then hit him like hard, hit him like a ton of bricks though. It's sad right there. Like his history of like body abuse from his wrestling history hit him with a ton of bricks or something like that. That's what it seemed like though. Scared. Like you ever watched the episode of what's the name Baku when the big guy decided to stop fighting. He lost all his. He was like at a certain age. He lost all his muscle and died instantly. It was like scary. This thing like. It might have that might happen with Sabu. Like he stopped wrestling, then everything just went south after that. Wow, quickly.
Game Changer Wrestling, the company which hosted his farewell bout, denied any involvement in his sudden death. A revolutionary of extreme championship
Like I say,
wrestling.
it probably wasn't any in their fault. It's probably after he hugged the boots up and everything just probably just shut down.
Sabu was among the most prolific stars in the land of extreme, becoming just the second Triple Crown champion.
It's like maybe it's like the the adrenaline finally wore off after he stopped and every history of bodily damage, everything hit him.
Company
It seemed like
history.
it to me.
His dedication to the art of hardcore wrestling
Yes.
also led him to receive numerous Hall of Fame inductions, including the Hardcore Hall of Fame in 2009. WWE, where Sabu wrestled for around a year upon Vince McMahon's relaunching of ECW as a third brand, paid tribute to the hardcore legend. WWE is saddened to learn that
Yeah.
Terry Brunk, known to wrestling fans as Sabu, has passed away. The nephew of WWE Hall of Famer The Sheik, Sabu became a national star as part of ECW, where he was a pioneer of hardcore wrestling, leaping from chairs and driving his opponents through tables and even barbed wire. Many of ECW's greatest matches featuring Sabu doing battles with the likes of WWE Hall of Famers Rob Van Dam and Mick Foley, as well as the Sandman and his greatest rivalry Taz. In 2006, Sabu signed with WWE as part of WWE's revival of the ECW brand. Finally unleashed on WWE, Sabu competed in marquee contests with Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship and John Cena for the WWE Championship. One of his greatest accomplishments came when he and fellow ECW originals The Sandman, Tommy Dreamer and Rob Van Dam were victorious at WrestleMania 23 in Sabu's native Detroit in front of over 80,000 fans. Sabu left WWE soon after in 2007 and continued to travel the world as sports entertainment's human highlight reel. WWE extends its condolences to Sabu's family, friends, and fans. Salman Hashimov. Although he was only an active pro wrestler for 5 years, Salman Hashimov left an enduring mark on the industry as he became the first European to lift the prestigious IWGP Heavyweight Championship. The 4-time freestyle wrestling world champion passed away on May 28th from heart failure at 73 years old. Austin Steele. Austin Steele may be remembered by new generation WWF fans as one of the company's go-to enhancement talents. He was used to put over legends like Lex Luger, Mabel, Tatanka, the 1-2-3 Kid, and the Smoking Guns, amongst others. Steele would pass away on July 6th at the age of 70. Knuckles Madsen. The death of Knuckles Madsen is perhaps the most heartbreaking in this video. He was shot and killed by his ex-wife and a new boyfriend at just 41 years old. Madsen was found with a gunshot wound to his abdomen and ultimately passed away on July 11th. A wrestling promoter and trainer in his late career, the real-life Kevin Nickel was once a prospect in WWE, signed to the promotion between 2012 and 2013. Though only one of his matches was aired on television, an NXT Championship #1 Contenders Battle Royal from May 2013. Hulk Hogan. After months of rumors surrounding his ill health, the wrestling world lost one of its most iconic stars on July 24th, as the legendary Hulk Hogan passed away at 71 years old from a heart attack. It was noted in his medical records that he had also been fighting chronic lymphocytic leukemia and atrial fibrillation at the time of his death. Indisputably the most legendary pro wrestler in history, Hulk helped shape the industry into what it is, as the craze of Hulkamania woke up many to the art of professional wrestling. WWE's lengthy written tribute to the Hulkster concluded with the perfect summarization of his contributions to the industry. There are few names more synonymous with sports entertainment than Hulk Hogan, as a larger-than-life icon was a central figure in WWE's rise from a regional attraction to a worldwide entertainment leader. The Hulkster's superhuman size and undeniable charisma helped him reach heights once unthinkable in sports and entertainment, as Hogan packed 93,173 fans into the Pontiac Silverdome for WrestleMania 3, won 6 WWE championships, starred in movies, and set the standard for what a WWE superstar could be, as well as his heartfelt write-up.
Yes, he was not a good person behind the scene and everything. Yes, he has a little controversy against us, but at the same time, you can't deny the legacy what he done for pro wrestling. I mean, it's already, whatever to Terry Bollea or whatever, but Hulk Hogan, the character, definitely did a lot for wrestling. I mean, from his days of telling folks to say your prayer, eat your vitamins, write him in and everything, and what you gonna do, Hulkman is come for you, I mean, to the iconic Hollywood Hulk for the Hill fans, changing the game for WCW and all that with NWO, and many others as well too, though. Hogan may not been a good person, but he definitely still is a wrestling icon, though. You can't deny
WWE paid tribute to Hulk Hogan with 10 bell salutes on that week's Raw, SmackDown, and NXT broadcasts, while Jimmy Hart, Eric Bischoff, Kevin Nash, Sting, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H were among those in attendance at his funeral. Steve Regal. Although we only had fleeting appearances in the WWF and JCP, Steve Regal, not to be confused with William Regal, who wrestled previously as Lord Steven Regal, found great success in Vern Gagne's American Wrestling Association. He passed away on July 30th, age 73, but his passing remained private until December. Tomohiko Yashimoto. Tomohiko Yashimoto was a mainstay in Japan's DDT promotion for 6 years, thrice winning their KOD Tag Team Championship, which he achieved alongside a disappointing career in his mixed martial arts. He passed away on August 5th, having been battling liver cancer for the preceding year at the age of 47. Robbie Ellis. Trained by the great Killer Kowalski, Robbie Ellis will be best known to modern audiences for his stints in Chikara, where he served as a company's on-screen owner.
Oh, wow.
He would pass away on August 7th at 82 years old.
Wow.
The Great Wojo. An accomplished amateur wrestler before he turned pro, the Great Wojo rose to regional prominence throughout the 80s. In the Indianapolis-based World Wrestling Association, he hosted regular shoot wrestling matches, offering $10,000 to anyone who was able to beat him. He would pass away suffering a heart attack on August 12th at age 73, having taught high school wrestling after hanging up his professional boots. Jacka. Jonathan Ichihara, fondly known within wrestling circles as Jacka, suffered a heart attack on August 31st and passed away on September 7th at just 39 years old. Best remembered for his stint in Evolve during the company.
Oh, that guy! Oh
Championships
no!
alongside
I see him in a lot of. He's using a lot of the BWJ videos. Damn.
Dickinson, a title reign which boasted a defense at WrestleMania Access in 2018 through WWE's partnership with the promotion. A GoFundMe page was set up to help offset the costs of his funeral, with Tony Khan donating $5,000, while Mike Santana dedicated his TNA World Championship victory at Bound for Glory to his fallen friend, Taisha Nagawa. Also on September 7th, the wrestling world tragically lost Taisha Nagawa at just 21 years old. The All Japan Pro Wrestling young boy had been accidentally hit by a tour bus in May and passed away from related injuries, having only made his professional debut in October 2024. Chuck Coates. Chuck Coates, a longtime enhancement talent who is utilized by both WWF and WCW, passed away on September 8th. While an official cause of death hasn't been publicly disclosed, it was known that he'd been suffering from a multitude of heart issues after undergoing heart bypass surgery. Mo. Robert Lawrence Horn, generation WWF audiences as Mo, passed away on October 19th at the age of 58, having spent 2 months living in an intensive care unit. A blood infection and pneumonia were listed as his causes of death. Best remembered for his partnership with the late Mabel as both Men on a Mission and the Harlem Knights, Mo achieved his career apex in March of '94, capturing the WWF Tag Team Championships alongside his superweight friend during a company tour of the UK, even if they were toppled as champions just 2 days later. WWE's official tribute to the veteran read as follows: WWE is saddened to learn that Bobby Mohorn has passed away. Home entertained fans as a fun-loving Mo across a number of his promotions throughout his career. Alongside Mabel and manager Oscar, the trio formed one of the most popular groups in the mid-90s, Men on a Mission. Mo and Mabel captured the WWE Tag Team Championships from the Quebecers in '94 for their crowning moment as a team. After Mabel won the King of the Ring in '95, he crowned Mo as Sir Mo, and the duo continued to compete in WWE. Horn would go on to share his gift in the ring for another 2 decades, as he was part of the original Nation of Domination in the USWA and won the PPW Tag Team titles alongside Dion Harlan. WWE extends its condolences to Horn's family, friends, and fans. Brian McEnany. Brian McEnany was an enhancement talent for the WWF throughout the 70s and 80s, but he's also known as being the company's first ever deaf wrestler, earning himself the moniker of Silent McEnany. He passed away on November 7th at the age of 77. Bob Caudle. One of the voices of professional wrestling's golden age, Bob Caudle was synonymous while adorning the headset, calling numerous shows in the early days of World Championship Wrestling, as he was the lead announcer for many of the first Starrcade and Clash of Champions broadcasts. He also loaned his voice to Ric Flair's last match in 2022.
That's right.
The father of 3 would pass away in his sleep on November 16th at 95 years old. The NWA will post an emotional tribute in his honor. The National Wrestling Alliance is saddened to note the passing of Bob Caudle. Throughout the 70s as well in the 80s and beyond, Bob left an indelible mark on NWA, its programming, and fans. He was the signature voice of countless NWA broadcasts and pay-per-views during a decades-long career. The NWA sends its most sincere condolences to Bob's friends, family, and friends. As the broadcast legend said to close each episode of NWA Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, so long for now. And Solomon Grundy. On December 14th, Solomon Grundy would pass away at the age of 64. The 6'2", 464-pounder wrestled a couple of times for World Championship Wrestling in '91, but he found his greatest achievements competing internationally in Mexico for both CMLL and AAA.
All right, hold up. Bell salute.
Rest in peace, wrestling legend.
There you go. Yeah. RIP though that didn't make it to 2026 in the wrestling business, as well as all over the world as well too though. Hopefully this year be a little bit better. You know, it's not good start news wise, but other than that, RIP those we lost. Other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T. Signing off. One love.